This podcast is part of the Game and Entertainment Network. Visit tgenetwork.net to find the latest episodes from all our shows.
Hey folks, I'm Belgast of the AgroChat podcast. What is our podcast, you ask? Well, the idea is really simple. Get a bunch of friends together, hit record, and see what happens. If that sounds interesting to you, you should totally check us out. We're a proud member of the Gaming and Entertainment Network at tgenetwork.net.
Welcome to Couch Potatoes, episode number 77. I'm your host, Islan, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ari. This week we're covering the topic of YouTube and how it can be a useful resource for everyone. I've seen quite a few conversations start out with the I just don't get YouTube sort of line, and I personally use it quite a bit. I watch stuff on there pretty regularly, so I thought we could talk about what you can expect from the service, share some of our favorite channels to watch, stuff like that. But first, as usual, let's talk about what we've been playing. So, Ari, what have you been up to?
I have been playing all the games.
All the games?
All the games. Because I'm unemployed now.
Really?
Yep.
When did that happen?
Last week was my last week.
Why for?
They didn't have enough kids anymore, so they had to fire people.
So you
And one of those people
off?
were me. Yep. Well, they're asking me to do casual work now, and that's just kind of weird. You fired me. I'm just gonna fuck off now.
Well, so do you get unemployment or something like that?
Yeah, we've got unemployment in Australia. I've already applied for it.
Well, there you go. You'll be fine.
Yep, I will be. And plus, I've got 2 weeks of holiday pay up that they have to pay me, and
Time for a
I
vacation.
still get. Yeah, well, I just had a 2-week vacation, so I don't really feel like a vacation. But oh well.
Wow, damn, forced vacation. Poor you.
Yep, poor me. Anyway, I've been playing Mini Metro again. Still, basically doing the daily every day and getting pretty damn good at it now. I must say, I get in the top 5% just about every time as well.
Awesome.
Yep, very awesome. I am so smart. I am so smart. S-M-A-T. I've been playing Dungeon Souls still and getting my passives up and getting more gold and that kind of stuff, and just, I don't know, playing it. I kind of like it as a roguelike. It's fun.
That one doesn't have a daily system, does it?
No.
No. You'd think that would be something that they could add in, though.
It has more of a long-term goal anyway, so you can just have one match and it still adds towards something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nuclear Throne doesn't really have that as much. Yeah, you unlock characters, but your characters aren't getting stronger over time. But Dungeon Souls, they are. So
yeah, because of the passives. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're popping in there. And they actually are quite strong, too, when you get around to it, especially the early game. And I've been playing Darkest Dungeon, just a little bit, getting back into it again now. Vermintide, I played more Witcher. I jumped into Sword Coast Legends really quickly. And my net is too shit to actually play it, the online version. I played a lot of Invisible Ink, and this game is pretty damn awesome. I'm surprised I didn't play it earlier. It's stealth strategy, but just done so well. It's actually pretty hard, and it asks you to really watch what the people are doing and really weigh up your options, whether you're going to actually kill that or not kill, tackle that guard, put them out, or maybe try and get around them, that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a really fun game. I know a lot of these strategy games, they tend to focus on the combat aspects, but this one's more about avoidance. It's actually far better to avoid enemies and just keep going that way. But yeah, this is a really good game. And I didn't realize about it, but there's this whole account progression type of thing too. The actual campaign's pretty small, but each time you do it, you keep getting more and more experience and credits for your actual group, more passives. You unlock new agents to use next time, that kind of stuff. So it's a really fun game. I really like it.
That one's isometric, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember seeing it, but the whole stealth thing is usually a turnoff for me.
If you like strategy games, this is like a must-have kind of game. It reminds me of like what's that alien one? XCOM, but like a stealth XCOM.
Well, that sounds more interesting.
Yeah, because that's exactly how it plays out. The movement, the actual abilities you use, and all that kind of stuff.
Is it just one person, or do you have a team?
You can have a team, yes.
Cool.
So I think it's up to 4 players. In the end missions, you have like 4 players. But usually I think it's just 2 you're using.
Okay.
So yeah, it's actually really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I played the Division last night.
The beta.
Before I went to bed. Yep. And it's awesome. I love it.
So
Motherfucking hype!
what's going on with the beta? I mean, is it just kill shit just to test out the servers, or is it like full-on gameplay?
No, there's just a small area of the actual map. And I'm guessing it's just the beginning area. And what I've noticed, like, it is relatively open world. Like, the world is pretty big, and there is a lot of stuff happening in it that isn't actually marked down. Like, I came across, like, a mugging the other day, which was really weird. Like, I just walked in on this alleyway, and there's these 2 guys with guns trying to, stick up some other person. And they've seen me immediately gone red, attack, killed, and that kind of stuff. And that's just a dynamic event kind of stuff. And there's actually a lot of stuff like that too, just around the map to like find and explore. But then there's missions as well, and yeah, it's just really well done. And the combat and the shooting is really good. I really enjoy it.
What would you compare it to? I mean, combat-wise.
Like, I don't know. It feels different than, say, like a Call of Duty kind of thing.
Well, yeah, it's third person, so it's going to be different. But from what I've seen
No, I just mean like when you're aiming and you're feeling that shots, like there's a lot more recoil than you would think, and I think that gets better as your character gets better. I'm not sure about that. Or as your guns get better and you mod them and stuff. But have you played Destiny?
No.
I was going to say it actually plays like a good Destiny.
But that's first... No, that's first person, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just mean like how the shooting feels. Like, one of the big criticisms beforehand was that like they were bullet sponge enemies, but from what I've played, that seems to not be the case. Maybe they've changed it a little bit, but I think the time to kill is very reasonable now. Like, if you're just getting a few headshots, things go down like 3 or 4 shots. But if you're, like half a clip might put down an enemy if you get them every hit kind of thing.
Right.
But with the recoil, I think, from what I've seen of those footages, a lot of people were missing a lot of hits, so that's why they thought, they were putting too many bullets into things. Yeah. And there's like a kind of, like, not auto-aim, but kind of auto-aim, but it's like a stat-based auto-aim, if that makes sense. But it's not like, like this bullet's going to, like, zoom in to that person. It's like if you're within a certain reticle of that person kind of thing. But it's really, really small. Like, it's like just an extra arm's length kind of thing that helps you. You don't notice it too much, but you do sometimes. Like, it's not major, but this is an element you can, like, upgrade. So it definitely helps in an online game as well for me.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, it really is. I'm really excited for this game now. Like, really excited. The Dark Zone was awesome. I killed people. Anyway, that's me. What have you been up to?
I have played the same exact games as last week. I've been kind of stuck in a rut. League and Diablo. But I did, as I mentioned last week, I had that barbarian that got to 70 and then died. This time I was more careful. I didn't jump up in difficulties too fast because that's what I did before. And so my Crusader hit 70. I think I have something like 60 Paragon levels at this point. I've been doing rifts and greater rifts, which I had never actually done a greater rift prior to this. So, because usually, yeah, I always ended up hitting 70 and then just kind of being like, I'm bored, and then stop playing. I never really went too far beyond that. And I think at some point it was a little more difficult to get the greater rift keys. Like, didn't you have to kill like key wardens or whatever to get them or something? I want to say that it was more difficult to get them. Either way, now it's like, as long as you're on...
There are no keys anymore.
No, there still are for the greater rifts. not the regular rifts.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they drop off of the Rift Guardians in normal rifts, but not all the time. It's like, I guess, a % chance. But as long as you're over Torment, it's almost every time. So I've been playing on Torment 2 regularly, and then as far as the greater rifts go, I made it up to, I think, 18, or right around there. And one of the parts of the season journey is to do a greater rift level 20 solo. So I've been, progressively going up the ranks and doing that. Got quite a few legendary gems, ranked some of them up. And yeah, my guy feels almost invincible at this point, but again, I'm only on Torment 2, so I know that there's a long way to go. But yeah, that's mostly what I've been doing, is just farming that and grinding it out, and getting some of the set pieces and all that good stuff. So, it's typical Diablo. And then League, it's just same thing. Just been playing with my buddies, practicing.
Being a scrub.
None of us have gone into the ranked yet, because for whatever reason, they disabled the new champion select for a while, and then it finally came back up, and I usually wait a little while after the start of the season to let, it kind of balance itself out. Because if you start at the same time as everyone else right at the beginning of the season, you might get matched up against people who are way better than you, because of the fact that it's still trying to place them. So you'll end up losing a lot more of your placement matches that way. So I figure wait a little while and then start, so that way, you're more likely to get matched up with people that are closer to your skill level. Plus, I want to do it with those guys. There's 2 dudes that are in my guild that play, and we figured if we can all play together, or at least 2 of us can play together, it increases our chances of getting wins. So we're all kind of waiting until a little while, and then we'll get into it and hopefully get placed pretty decently and start climbing the ranks. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've done. It's been the same old, same old.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
So for our discussion this week, we are going to be talking about YouTube. And the main question that I want to ask and answer is, why is YouTube a useful resource? Generally speaking, there are several different types of videos that you might find on YouTube. Granted, when you go to the main page, if you have an account, it's going to recommend things to you based on things that you've already watched. If you don't have an account, it's more of a, just random smattering of different things on the main page. And for those who haven't really used YouTube a whole bunch, just going to the main page and not really knowing what you're looking for, it can be a little bit on the confusing side. But, they have a search function, there are recommended channels and things. So, finding something that you might like isn't too difficult. It just may be a little overwhelming for someone who has not used the service. But it has been around for over 10 years now, so I think most people know what YouTube is and have used it to some degree. For the most part, when I got started with YouTube, it was mainly just looking up funny things or, just generally being entertained by random shit. But over the course of time, you start noticing patterns and different things that people are starting to produce. And I'd say that some of the biggest categories are probably like Let's Plays, unboxings, funny videos, and stuff like that.
Like, so much more there as well, like ungaming. You know what I mean? Like, we're just focusing on the gaming aspect. And outside of that, there's a lot as well.
Well, yeah, I actually, when we get down to our lists of some of our favorite channels, there are a lot of channels that I like that are not gaming related. And yes, it can be educational and informative outside of just video games or anything else. And then there's a lot of drama too, with just YouTube celebrities talking shit on each other and about other things going on the internet, and there's all kinds of different things. It's like TV. Literally, there's so many different channels that it's no different. But I'd say for a gamer who's trying to get into YouTube or is looking for particular types of information, there are several different types of videos that will be most informative to them. And like I said, Let's Plays or a video type where whoever the person is that's making the video is playing the game and then making commentary over the top of it. It allows you to get a sense of what the game is like and can let you determine if the game is for you.
It's really about the personality of the person with these two. Like,
It can be, yeah.
like it really lifts the game. And I've actually seen this like whole medium improving so much recently. Like, there's quite a few like actual developer let's plays, or people that really more delve into the lore while they're playing. Look at this part, this is what this means as they're going through the game, and these are really quite interesting.
Yeah. It depends on who it is.
Especially
like you
the
said.
developer ones where they're actually playing their own game. And like, oh, this is the decision we made here and here and here and that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, wow, you're really getting a far greater glimpse into this game's development. It feels like, the commentary on those DVDs for movies and stuff, like, they really actually can be quite entertaining, interesting as well. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. For me, Let's Plays are, most of them, the ones that I've watched, like all the way through, are from people who I enjoy their personalities and things like you said. Although I have just watched random Let's Plays from random people just by searching for the game name and in the YouTube search bar. And a lot of times it's not so much about watching them play through the whole thing or watching the whole video. It's taking a sample to see what the game looks like so you can, really figure out if you want to buy it. And I'll do that with Let's Plays or reviews of a game. I'll do some research before, especially if it's a game I'm not sure if I really will like. That seems to be really useful as far as determining if you're going to like it, or at least if it's worth giving it a shot and spending your money on it. Another really popular subsect of YouTube are unboxing videos, and that can be anything from something as stupid as like chicken fries from Burger King to full-on products that they bought from somewhere, or like Loot Crate or some of those other like Indie Box and things like that. The stuff that you get shipped to your house and you can open, and it comes with a variety of stuff in it. So people have made quite a few different videos like that. Or, just something like a product that you're looking at. Like, for instance, recently I was looking into buying a new headset. And I had heard of a couple different types, just roundabout, and decided to look up some unboxing videos of those. And, it's kind of nice to be able to see how the package will come to you, what comes in the box, and then they'll pull it all out, look at it, break it down, and go into tech specs or whatever. And it gives you a good idea of what the product is that you're looking at to buy, and it can give you some sort of consumer feedback as to whether or not it's worth your money. There's another guy that I watch sometimes that he does it for vaping devices, so like mods and atomizers and tanks, batteries, you name it. If it has to do with vaping, he'll show you what it comes, the box that it comes in. He'll take it apart. He'll actually break down whatever it is down to where as much as it can be broken down, and show you all of the inner workings, and then actually put it all back together, show you how it works, things like that. So those can be really informative.
That's pretty cool. I think like that could actually be a good thing for technology itself, like showing people how certain programs work or how certain devices work. Like, we see a lot of that now, and I think that's a great tool for people trying to learn things. And it's kind of consumer review, but like an even better review kind of thing, because you're actually seeing how it functions, seeing how it works, seeing the inner workings, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because like if you think about it, like, okay, so if you were going to try and buy a game or a product, 20 years ago, it was more like you would read a review in a magazine, which might give you pictures of things broken down, but it's not exactly the same as seeing a video of it. So in today's technological advancements and whatnot, like, that's like the next step. Instead of reading about a game review, you watch a Let's Play. Instead of reading a consumer report about a headset, you watch a guy pull it out of a box and actually test it. So yeah, it gives you it's almost like as if, because usually you'll probably be more willing to buy something if your friend recommends it to you. It kind of almost feels more like that, even if, you don't know the person personally. You still get to, like, especially if it's someone whose personality you enjoy and you may trust their word because they reviewed something, you bought it, you liked it. Now you can watch anything that they open because you're going to more than likely trust their opinion. It's a great way to kind of test things before you buy them, even though you're not doing it yourself. Because lots of products, let's face it, don't have like a trial period. You know, once you buy it and you open it, it's yours. You're stuck with it. So trying to get something that's worth your investment is definitely more worthwhile.
I think in these times as well, where people are generally more like concerned about their money, you know, you don't want to waste it. You want to get a good value, and that's where all this comes in, you know. It's not like you can plop down $50 and just forget about it. That $50 is like important.
Right. Definitely.
And this is the part where like anyone really could benefit from YouTube. It's just better consumer information these days. Like, yes, you got all your reviews on whatever websites and that kind of stuff, but YouTube's just different. It shows you everything you need to know rather than just reading about it. And I think there is a huge difference there, and a huge amount of knowledge that just seeing something in parts as well, that just isn't able to be, you know, put across in print.
Well, and that's something too, if you think about the way people learn. That's common knowledge, that there are some people who learn visually better than they do, you know, there's spatial learning and then visual and then auditory and things like that. So a video combines multiple different types of, you know, learning aspects rather than just, you know, reading it off the page like you were saying. So you get more of that, you know, you can hear, see, you can't taste it or feel it, of course, but it gives you more input rather than just reading it. But even when I'm doing some sort of research on a product that I want to buy, I usually do both. I'll read reviews, but then also watch videos, and it gives you a kind of overall encompassing viewpoint on that thing. And of course, you know, just because it's a video and maybe you trust this guy, doesn't mean you shouldn't just watch his video and then make a decision. You should probably watch multiple videos because someone else out there might point out something that is a negative that the other guy didn't. So cross-referencing and doing thorough research is still advisable, but I think the YouTube videos like that can help in different ways. So it's good to have both options. Otherwise, I think that there's some of the other biggest channels have made their claim to fame, so to speak, by being either funny or informative in just various ways. Because there are some people who do a lot of Let's Plays, there are some people who do a lot of unboxing videos, and then there's people that are kind of just like catch-all, and it's more about their personality. You know, of course, everybody knows who PewDiePie is, and some people like his personality, other people don't. Yeah, I'm not into him. But you know, he made his living off of being funny for probably, you know, little kids are the only ones who are really thinking he's funny.
Air quotes when you say funny, though. But, yeah.
Well, no one can see that. But either way, you know, he made his persona the way it is, and it's still, I guarantee you, people bought games that he played just because of how much of an idiot he is, because kids just like that or whatever. And there's plenty of other examples.
See, that's the thing with all these really popular YouTubers. They market themselves towards children first. And there's a few reasons behind this. I've actually seen it at work. Like, children will absolutely always refresh a video. They will go back to the same video time and time again. They don't use ad block and all those kind of programs as well. So it really inflates the numbers of videos. It's kind of funny.
That is true, because every kid I've ever met has that favorite movie, and they'll watch that movie, you know, 3 or 4 times a week. I remember doing it when I was a kid. Yeah.
Like, I've seen a few of them, like, looking up Minecraft videos, and they'll pretty much go to the same Minecraft video nearly every time. Watch, like, a minute of it, and then go to the next video.
Yeah. But that's the thing that's interesting, though, is that some people have kind of done it that way, and then there's other people that are more catered towards adults, and they'll use adult language, and they'll talk about adult situations and things like that. So it can be sometimes a little more on the informative side than the funny side, but I like the fact that there are people out there who have done a channel that it may have originally focused on just gaming, but then maybe they start branching out and talking about politics or you know, other real life occurrences, and just have more of a blanket sphere that they cover. But you may have gotten to like them because they played League of Legends, and you like League of Legends, so you watch them play League of Legends and talk about the game and whatever. But then they decide to make a video about sports because they like sports too. And then you kind of get more of a bigger picture of who the person is, and they might also have more interests that are varied that you actually like as well, so there's even more reason to watch their videos. And it doesn't get as stale because it's not just League of Legends every single time you watch, it's something different. And some people cover a lot of different topics, so there's a lot of variety out there. And then, just in general, there's a lot that is unexpected when it comes to YouTube. Some people are just so ridiculously creative that you just don't know what's going to pop up next. I mean, there's a guy that I watch regularly, and it was exactly that. He did League of Legends videos, and most of the time it was just gameplay, or it would be just him doing like a vlog-style video talking about the game, or talking about something that had to do with the game, or just being funny, or whatever. And then, you know, out of the blue, he'll make a video that's completely unrelated to League of Legends that's just crazy. Another guy did a documentary-type series on League and how it started, and then, you know, the various different iterations throughout time, or just MOBAs in general, how they evolved over time. And that kind of leads up to another big topic that's on YouTube, and you can find various channels, documentaries and or critiques. Feminist Frequency is probably one of the better knowns in our little gaming sphere.
There's quite a few though.
But there are a lot, yeah.
There's this one guy who just looks at every single area of gaming, and even outside of it now, and really gets down to the, you know, psychological, sociological critiques of stuff. And he really goes into quite depth on these subjects. But yeah, it's not for everyone, but I'm glad there's a medium for that as well. Personally, this is one of the areas I think, I'm not sure if this is the area YouTube should be focusing on. Like, it's just much easier to read these kinds of conversations than actually watch them. And the visual often doesn't show as much as you would need to, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, with a Let's Play or a review, or even, like you say, those funny, informative things, like having the actual footage there really tends to, you know, help those videos, help the information.
Yeah, it brings it all together.
But for these kind of critiques, I don't know. I don't think it helps as much as it could. I think it hinders in sometimes as well.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, like, people are gravitating more towards YouTube and Twitch and things these days because visual stimulation tends to be what society wants. There are a lot of people out there that you will ask, like, what's the last book you read? And they either say, I don't read, or it's been a very, very long time since they read something. You know what I mean? So people like watching Twitch and like watching YouTube videos because attention spans aren't what they used to be, and, you know, people just don't read. So a documentary / you know, formal critique of something that's in video form will at least get views, whereas if they wrote that somewhere, it might not get read, if that makes sense. So I think that's why it's kind of gone that direction. But at the same time, if it's done well and it's edited well and the visuals go along with what's being said at the time, even if it's just popping up graphs or other pictures that you would have in like a formal presentation for like school or a job, if it's just, you know, like what's that called? A PowerPoint presentation. If that's just slapped into a video form with commentary over the top, it still has a little bit of visual, but it's one of those things that you can just minimize your browser and have it play in the background and just listen to it like you would a podcast, which is why we do a video version of the podcast now. I mean, people don't necessarily watch the video, but that YouTube might be their favorite way of gathering and or absorbing information.
I think, yeah, you're right there. YouTube has definitely become a point for searching for things, searching for information, searching for knowledge, searching for guides, all that kind of stuff. And I think that's a huge population that goes there for that now, rather than just say Google, you know?
Well, and because they're owned by Google. Like, they basically have.
Well, I mean, when you Google search stuff, it might show a couple of video links, but the wealth of those will be websites.
Yeah.
But some people just want YouTube stuff. They just want video versions. They just want that kind of product. And if you're looking to find stuff like that, YouTube is a pretty good area to search for that. I think there's just about every subject imagined covered by now. There would have to be.
I find new things all the time. And it's most of the time it's because you go to those specific channels that you subscribe to, but when you click on them, there's always recommended videos that are, quote, similar. And a lot of times it'll be, just because you clicked on this guy and you watch his video and he does League of Legends videos, there'll be several other suggestions of other people who do League of Legends videos. And then there'll be some other random stuff thrown in there too. So, sometimes you can just go down that rabbit hole and find all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's dumb, sometimes it's a waste of time, but other times you find stuff that you didn't know existed and it's pretty awesome. So, it's just like any other part of the internet. Enough time spent, you'll find things that you like, and you can start curating your own list of people that you want to follow and things like that. Moving on, let's talk about some of our favorite YouTube channels. I made a little bit of a list here. It's not every single one that I subscribe to, but there are definitely a lot of different things represented. It is primarily gaming channels, but I do have some other channels as well that aren't gaming, don't have anything to do with gaming. I'll just run down my list real quick and then we'll let you do yours, because I don't have a lot of commentary. Just wanted to share some of them. And I'll probably also throw links to these in the show notes so that way people can check them out if they would like. One that's documentary focused that I think is really cool. It's called Alternate History Hub. And the guy who does this one, it's just one guy. He's a college student, I think, and he comes up with different scenarios that have to do with our actual history, but then like alternate timelines. So, like, for instance, he had a multi-part series on what would have happened if Germany won World War II. And then he uses, like, kind of a cartoony, stickman almost kind of art style and does various images that change throughout. So it's kind of like a slideshow, not really animated, but more just like various pictures that he talks about as he goes through. There are some cool stuff. He did one on Fallout, too, like the Fallout history timeline. So there is some little bit of gaming in there too, but like he does stuff on all kinds of different scenarios, and he does actual research based on our actual history, and then just kind of speculates from there. But that's one that's kind of cool. Outside of that, I have quite a few different League of Legends gamers: Sky Williams, Blackanola, GBay99, Brofresco, Magic Carp Used Fly, Disco Heat, Bricky Orchid. I watch the Hive Leader. He's awesome. He talks mostly about MMOs, but also touches on other video games. I'm sure you know who he is.
He does make me laugh.
he's hilarious, and like, cause he just talks about like the pros and cons of games, but always manages to find a great one-liner or punchline for whatever it is he's talking about. Other general gaming guys, Total Biscuit, he can be kind of annoying sometimes, but I have watched quite a few of his videos. I like his what the fuck.
It used to be good, but then I don't know. Politics changed him, man.
I think that goes for anybody. I mean, not everyone is going to stay the same, and you're not always necessarily going to like them. But he's got some opinions that I don't necessarily agree with. But I do like watching his videos because it will give you a good idea if a game is going to run well on your computer and things like that. Boogie2988 is a YouTuber that's been around for a long time. He talks about all kinds of stuff. He does unboxings, he does Let's Plays, he does everything, mostly just commentary. But he also has this character called Francis that's kind of special and rages about everything. So he's pretty funny.
So the guy version of me.
Yeah, kind of. Except for he's a lot bigger than you are. He's kind of a fat guy, but that's okay.
Yeah, I've seen Boogie.
Yeah. There's another one, an offshoot. It really has nothing to do with him, but there's this channel called What the Fuck Brah, and they've taken some of his videos and made them into remixes with like dance music in the background, and it actually takes his like what he's saying in the video and like it does funny things with it. Like, I can't explain it. It's just it made me laugh so much that I had to subscribe to that channel. But then he does other things too, like major news stories, like, you know, like that meme that black lady where she's like, ain't anybody got time for that. Like, he made a music video out of that. Other news clips, stuff like that. It's hilarious. Another one that can be, it's not really informative, but it's funny, is Epic Rap Battles of History. They take various historical figures and have them do rap battles against each other, but then they also take fictional characters like Darth Vader versus, whoever, or like the original Renaissance painters, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello, and had them rap against the Ninja Turtles. Like, they do some funny shit. The raps aren't the greatest, but I mean, it's still pretty funny. And then getting away from video games or any like that type of popular culture, there's a couple of different atheist YouTubers that I watch. The Amazing Atheist and Jacqueline Glenn, to name a couple. Because I am atheist, and they talk about mostly politics and things, but they have like that anti-religious slant that I can appreciate. Obviously, people who aren't or who are religious probably wouldn't like those, but that you can find pretty much anything that you want when it comes to YouTube. And then lastly, Jared Dines. He's a guy that is in a band. He's younger, probably mid-20s. He's in a band, and so he will promote some of his own band stuff, but then he also does interesting videos. He plays guitar and drums and bass, like he's a very talented musician. But he'll do like 10 styles of, rock, and he'll just, do it, and it'll all be kind of like to the same tune of one song. Hard to describe, but like he'll also do video reviews of like different products like amps and guitars and drum heads and different things like that. So it's mostly musically oriented, and I'm into metal. He's a metal guy, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's my list. A lot of different things varied there, but like I said, that's not everything that I watch, but it's quite a few there. So what are some of your favorites?
Well, most of mine kind of go around indie games. Indie games are MMOs. And there's so many great indie gamers, like Blitz Chrysler does a lot of Let's Plays for like random indie games. Stumped and Honey Bunny Games and Gaming Faster Than Life, and Indie Informer's pretty good too. They do a good roundup of what's new each month in both, early access and Kickstarters. So those are kind of the main people I keep going back to seeing what's new and what looks interesting. Because I like indie games. They're usually pretty cheap and fun. So, but you can never be sure like which one's actually going to be good. And that's where it helps.
Yeah.
And then for like MMOs, it's I watch Aloha. She does some great SO videos. So even though I don't play, I still kind of keep up a little bit on what's happening, what's new, what the content is like, that kind of stuff. Force Gaming does a lot of it, and Scion Storm. They're the ones that I really listen to. Because they tend to have, like, valuable opinions on MMOs. Like, not just towing the party line or, superficial approaches. Like, I love Hive Lever, but some of these videos are very superficial and don't really get into, like, the meat and the mechanics of these games.
Yeah.
And that's where I like these people. And the other, like, my subscriber list is pretty long now, so I'm only getting the bare minimum here. And the other one is like a couple of music people I listen to. And of these, I think Alex Rainbird would be my favorite. Just make some great playlists of like, indie music, indie pop, indie rock kind of stuff. What's new, what's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, and there's something for everyone, definitely on the service that... if you like gardening, I'm sure there's gardening videos. If you are into cars, they have mechanic, like, sort of how-tos, like how to change your brakes, stuff like that. You can find channels like that. They're also, just car enthusiasts, reviewing different cars.
It's all about, say, filling in your lack of knowledge.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, there's that, and just enthusiast type. Just like there's enthusiast blogs, there's enthusiast YouTube channels, and there's something for everyone, like literally. And it's no different than if you watch TV, there's the HGTV channel that is Home and Garden, and has like programs about like reality TV almost, but programs about house hunting or other things like that. I mean, anything that you can think of is pretty much on YouTube, and a lot of people have this negative stigma about it just because of people like PewDiePie and going like, oh, I don't want to watch that crap. I don't want to watch that crap either. So, but that doesn't mean that there isn't something there that you would want to watch. Anything that you have an interest in, just search for it on YouTube. You'll find people. And make sure to check out the recommended videos as well, because every once in a while something will pop up that you hadn't heard of and will be really interesting. I mean, the other day I was hanging out with a friend, and we got stuck on watching this, what's his name? It's one of the late shows, Jimmy Fallon. And he has this other show, like spin-off show that he does. I guess it started on the Jimmy Fallon show, and then they actually made a full-blown TV show out of it. And it was like karaoke, like lip-sync battles. And they'll just have random celebrities that go on there and will pick a song, and they'll do this whole like song and dance to it. Sometimes they have backup dancers, sometimes they get into crazy costumes, sometimes they use props. And I literally sat there and watched that for like 2 or 3 hours, just various people like lip sync battles. It was so dumb, but I mean, it's entertaining, and there's always something that you can find on there that you maybe never even thought you would have enjoyed, but it turns out to be enjoyable. So mainly, I just wanted to get that out there for, you know, those of you that don't really know what the whole deal with YouTube is, don't understand it, haven't really given it a chance. Hopefully some of these videos that we've talked about, the different types, and some of the channels that we like, will help you kind of, you know, get your toes wet. Check it out.
I have one question for you, though. What do you think is the worst part of YouTube? What would you change?
Well, there's a couple. It's probably mostly like stuff that's surrounding Gamergate and or the celebrity drama stuff. Like there was this. Did you see that video? What's her name? What's her name? Nicole Arbor. Did you see that like fat shaming video she did?
Nope.
It was a few months back.
I don't watch that kind of stuff.
Well, no, I didn't necessarily like watch her channel in particular. It was just something that was kind of like front and center for a little while. Like I saw stuff about it on Twitter. I saw it in other places, social media.
I think that comes to call-out style videos where you're naming and shaming whatever.
Well, she wasn't necessarily doing that. She's actually a comedian, and she was just trying to be funny. But the video was called like "Dear Fat People" or something like that. And several of the other people that I follow did answer videos to it. You know, basically saying that she's a fat shamer and she's fucked up and blah blah blah. Well, recently, she was dating some other YouTuber, and the other YouTuber like. I guess they broke up, and then he came out and did this video basically calling her out, saying that she's abusive, emotionally and physically, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, everybody and their mother started talking about how, like, their drama. But it has nothing to do with anybody else. And, like, I don't understand it. It's kind of like the same problem with, you know, people watching celebrities, like the trash mags and stuff that you see at the grocery store. Oh, so-and-so gained 40 pounds. So-and-so fucking had a baby. So-and-so's cheating on so-and-so. Like, people are fascinated with that shit, and I don't understand that. So that part of it is kind of annoying. So I usually try to just avoid those types of videos. I mean, I've seen it. I've heard enough about it. Obviously, I know.
And especially the YouTube comments on those kind of videos.
That too. And then, like I said, like the Gamergate stuff.
I think that comes down to the same kind of thing, trying to name and shame people.
Yeah, it does. And it, you know, and every time Anita Sarkeesian puts out a new video, there's 1,000 videos refuting every point that she makes, which I've gotten to the point where I kind of don't like her at all anymore. Like initially, I thought what she was doing was good for diversity and other things like that, but at this point, she just seems to be out to make herself more money. Doesn't really seem, because like that last video she put out was about butts in games and how developers go out of their way to cover up male butts, but go out of their way to show off female butts. It seemed like she was reaching, is all.
She does like kind of 101 feminist critique, if that makes sense. Like that's, if you're going to go into this argument, that's like the barest necessity. Like she's going at it like, I don't know, like someone not as knowledgeable, not as intelligent. Like there have been so many other videos, it's called the male gaze. So many other videos that have explained this so much better. You know what I mean? That's what it is, like how games change. Never mind.
I get what you're going with that.
Some people are just popular because they've maintained that hype, that hate crowd.
Yeah. And I get annoyed with that. Like I said, I'm not as big of a supporter of her as I was initially. I thought initially she was doing some good things, and now it just seems like she's reaching and just trying to make more money. But then there's always the other side of that, and every single person's like, oh, Anita Sarkeesian, you're an idiot, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, to a degree, I might agree with them, I might disagree with them, whatever the case is, I'll have my own personal bias, but then after you get started watching one of those videos, if you get sucked into it and you watch another one and another one, at the end of the day, you just end up feeling like shit because there's just everybody hating on everybody, and it's like, why did I bother watching all of that? So
It's kind of funny, but I think the people that are actually watching her videos that much to make her popular are the haters themselves. Like, I have only watched like the first 2, I think. And from then on, I've just kind of going, yeah, okay, they're there. I'm not going to watch them. I don't care, kind of stuff.
yeah, I've watched most of them.
Like, I think like most people would be in that position. It's like, I'm glad that's there, but it's not something I'm really interested in watching and reviewing. Over here's a really better critic, so yeah, I'll read them and watch them instead.
Yeah. I mean, I have no problem with feminism, and I have no problem with, women being on the same equal footing, and I have no problem with people being out there making feminist critiques of things. That's fine. It's whatever. They're entitled to their opinion just like I'm entitled to mine. But getting super involved in that just ends up being a headache most of the time. And I find that a lot of women that are, so-called feminists, they either only subscribe to part of it, or they just seem really hateful. Just the same as the guys on the other end seem really hateful. It's almost like one thinks they're right and the other doesn't, and vice versa. And it's just
See,
annoying.
the problem with YouTube, it magnifies, like, it polarizes these debates a lot more than they actually are. It magnifies on the certain loudest minorities, if that makes sense, because you really have to feel that strongly about it to make a video, you know what I mean? The many people in between, they don't feel that strongly about any of this, so it's just like, I didn't really care. I'm not going to make a video. I'm not going to watch it, But you have to be that invested in this idea, either on which side you are on, to make a video. And of course, to be that invested, you have to have probably an opinion that's far more, what's the word I'm looking for? Extreme.
Right.
So that's why you get all these extreme views on YouTube, I think.
Yeah, and comment sections and stuff like that are pretty vile. And it doesn't really matter what the topic is. There's always someone in there trying to stir up shit. But that's comment sections anywhere. Blogs, major websites, everywhere. It's all the same. You'll see those kinds of arguments. I mean, you could be on a sports team's website or CNN. You're going to see the same types of, vicious attitudes and whatnot. But I don't know, for me, I kind of got involved in some of that stuff, not commenting or anything, but like watching some of those videos just because I was trying to educate myself on, what things I may or may not be doing, quote unquote right. Because I think I was a little bit on the more insensitive side towards some of that stuff and was trying to be a little bit more sensitive towards those things.
Poor unempathetic Izzy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dickhead, it's fine. I don't really care. But at the same time, I wanted to be a little bit more empathetic about things. And in some cases, those videos helped. In other cases, it just made me more disgusted by people in general. So I don't know that you're gonna find a lot of videos on YouTube that are gonna change your life drastically. But you might be able to make some informed consumer decisions and or be just entertained. And I think that's all you can really ask from it.
That was a good roundup. What is he said?
Sweet. Yeah, so anyway, as usual, questions, comments, let us know. Feedback, whatnot. We're on Twitter. We're around. Hit us up. We might call you dumb. But that's okay.
No, just call Izzy dumb, and then you're in the in group.
Alright, we'll catch you guys later. That does it for this week's edition of Couch Potatoes. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope that you'll continue to join us. Couch Potatoes can be found on Twitter at Couch Potatoes, and on Anook at anook.com/blog/couch-potatoes. Music credits, other places you can find us, and pertinent links discussed on the show can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. We're going to get back to gaming now, so we'll see you next week.